I didn't want to see her, my fear on I
Sure, in your
didn't,
face.
I didn't turn around. She saw me go down.
And then did you say that you were then arrested? Is that what you said? You got arrested?
I was, he took me from the spot where he was checking papers to the police station. And
Okay.
we went up the police station, the steps, but he let me go to the school. He
Mm,
probably forgot it was summer. I don't know. I
sure.
only know I was a girl and he let me go. He let me go. And then eventually I went back to my parents. Now I have to uh, say that also now that it was July or August. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But the last story that I'm going to tell you is one night we were all in the room where my parents slept, and we heard the noise of wheels on the road. We were on a main road, I told you that before. And we started to talk to one another, and we decided it couldn't be French trucks because they don't have any more trucks. It couldn't be German trucks because they're very, very loud. Maybe it's the Americans. We were waiting for them for months. I always break down.
Okay.
Gigi, go up the road and take a look if it is the Americans. So I go up the few steps to the road, and it was an American convoy. And they threw chocolate and spam at me. And I went down to my parents, and we held each other, my grandmother, my brother, we held each other and we cried because we had made it. 4 years, 4 years, we had made it.
Wow.
I have a little story to add to it. The next day, the next day in the morning, we're outside on the road. My mother, my father, my grandmother, my brother, and I, and Madame Charton, the woman who saved our life. And another convoy passes by, and a jeep comes over to us. And you know, in France, when you're 11, you start learning English. That is the law. You have to learn French and English. So I knew some English. So an American soldier came over to us, and I made a couple of steps to go to him. The jeep stopped. He came out of the jeep. My mother pushed me aside, and she comes, she comes to the soldier. He was gorgeous. And she says to him, "Der redst Yiddish? Do you speak Yiddish?"
Yes.
Hmm.
So he said to her, "You Jewish? I'm Jewish." The first soldier was a Jewish
Ah,
American soldier.
oh my gosh. How
And then my
amazing.
mother asked him where he was going, what he wanted to know. He said, "We have to go." So she said, "Take me, I'll show you there and bring me back."
Wow.
That, that is the next day after we were liberated.
Wow. So many questions.
Where was your future husband all this time?
Yeah, how did you get connected
Oh,
with him
that's the
again?
story I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
We're not gonna let you forget that story.
One day, oh, you're wonderful. One day, my grandmother, who didn't know as one word of French, was going to town to buy something, and she found herself on the road going to buy something, and then there's a boy coming the other way,
After
and they recognize
liberation?
each other, and that's the boy she was in jail with.
Wow.
Woof.
She got so excited that she brought him to my parents' hiding place. I'm in school.
Sure.
I didn't meet him for, I don't remember, 6 months later, 8 months later, a year later, I don't remember. I only know that one day in the summer, he came to visit my family when I was there. And we went on the road and we walked. You know, it was very close. Voiron was very attached, close to Switzerland.
Sure.
It was beautiful, the mountains and the villages and the river. It was so beautiful. We were walking and he made me laugh. He had a sense of humor like nobody
Was he a
else.
Jewish boy?
He was a Jewish, of course. The point is that this is the reason why he was going to the south of France at the same time as my grandmother. But what happened also is when I was in the summer months, when I didn't go to school and I was with my parents, my mother and father didn't want me to be with them because they were afraid that the Germans would come for
Sure.
us. So my mother would send me to a dressmaker to learn how to sew. I was by then 14, 15, 16. And, and then after the dressmaker, I would go to a teacher to learn short hand and typing. Anything to keep me out of the hiding place they were in
Sure.
case the Germans came.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the dressmaker's place, there was a girl, two girls, Rosette and Judith, two Jewish girls. And we were working at the dressmaker. And we realized that we were Jewish. And Rosette became our friend. One day, Rosette said to me, I'm going to show you something. And we go to a man-made pool. It was summer, of course. We go to a man-made pool. Must have been a Sunday because we didn't work at the dressmaker. And she says, you see the boy over there who's flirting with the girls over there? That's my brother. That was the same boy, Charlie,
Oof.
who became my husband eventually. And
Oh,
that's a story by itself
Oof.
because it he lived in Paris, I lived in Dijon. We had completely different lives. My decision to marry him had nothing to do with love. It had to do with getting out of my parents' house.
Well, that's kind of love.
and how long were you married for?
I liked him. I knew he was a very wonderful person, but I was not in love. I was in love with somebody else, a jerk.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Another story, Jamie.
How long were you married for?
Well, he died young. He died at 56. We were married 33 years.
And it eventually turned into love, I would imagine.
No.
Oh, and how?
Wait a minute. Who's the
I
other guy
was,
you were in love with?
he was in love with me from the day he met me, he told me.
But who's the other love of your life?
He was a jerk for the rest of his life.
He was
I
a-
saw
A
him.
jerk. A jerk.
you
I
like
saw
you
him
like the bad
again.
boys, Gigi. You like the bad boys,
Absolutely
huh?
married a woman. I was 7 years younger than him, than him. He was 25. And he married a woman 2 years older than him. And after they came back from the honeymoon, she presented him with a little boy she had from an American soldier.
Oh.
How
That's
did you how
how,
did you meet him?
huh?
How did you meet him?
Jacques, well, when we came back after the war in Dijon, I met him at the synagogue. I met his sister, I met his mother, his father, and we became friends. The whole group we were the Jewish group. I
Sure.
belonged to a Jewish group, and I met him in the Jewish group. And he had a lot of girlfriends. And then
Mm.
eventually he hooked onto me, and he knew how to talk.
Mm. But you went for Charlie instead.
No, Charlie was in Paris,
Oh,
but
got
I
it.
broke up with Jacques. And I remember the day I broke up with him because it was Yom Kippur.
Oh boy.
Wow.
It was on Yom Kippur. My Jack came to the synagogue in his blue jeans, and I said, it's Yom Kippur. He said, I don't believe in any of that junk. And I went back into the synagogue and I opened the Bible, and something was written that said to me, you're going to make a mistake. Be careful not to make a mistake. Something went into my mind, and I said, Jeanette, you're making a mistake.
Wow.
And I broke up with him. And he
Wow.
remarried. He married I had no idea. How I got to Charlie again is he got um, papers to come to America from his uncle, who had come to America during the war, large ship. And he called my father because my husband was a tailor. He called my father and he said to my father, I have a stock of merchandise in my home. Would you buy it from me because I'm going to America? So my father said yes. And when my father said yes, I said to my father, um, let me go with you to Paris. I want to say goodbye. Rosette is my friend, my
Sure.
mother-in-law. My God, I used to put potatoes and coal in front of her door and run away because she was so poor. She was widowed at he was 40, her husband was 40 years old when he died during the war, right in the beginning.
Mm.
So she was a very, very poor woman. Anyway, uh, what was I saying?
You went to Paris to visit.
I went to Paris and I took a walk with Charlie and he said to me, Jeanette, marry me, I'll give you the moon. He did.
Hmm.
If you remember in the movie Fiddler on the Roof, one of the girls marries a tailor.
It was the best thing. It was the best thing that happened to me.
Oh.
The best thing that happened. But you
Where in
know,
America did you come to New York?
we came to New York in the Bronx.